So, welcome back to episode 2 of Small Town Living or Small Town Life. I haven't really gotten the title worked out, but this is just like my journal entry for the last week of what my experience has been like as we transition to small town living. Very, very, very different from suburbia. So, but it was interesting. So I think something that's been easiest for me is the fact that I have kids and they're little and they are not really independent and self-sufficient on their own. If I had decided to transition when my kids were older, I think it'd be a little bit more difficult for me emotionally because I'd really would have to just kind of like figure out what I like and what I want to do and how I'm going to mentally and emotionally transition. Right now, my mental and emotional feelings, everything, it's all directed towards my kids because I've got a 6-month-old who's very, very obviously much self-reliant on me, and then I have a 2-year-old. So that is where my attention is basically right now, and I anticipate for the next couple of years it's going to be. So even though I'm not feeling it right now, I can basically attribute that to my kids because I don't really have time to, I miss suburbia, I do, but I don't have time to kind of like wallow in self-pity because I am every moment of every second of my day is preoccupied with my children. But anyway, we started off the week going to church, which is something I didn't talk about last week. And as I was thinking about like what I want to talk about on like my second episode, I really wanted to incorporate church because I grew up going to church. My parents really instilled church in me. And then, as I got to college and moved out and kind of like set priorities in my life that I thought were priorities, church kind of just continued to fall and continue to fall and continue to fall at the bottom of the list. And some things that I've experienced in the last couple years with my sister and the passing of her son and my child going through the unknowns of what happened with her while she was, in utero, and how she spent 3 months in the NICU, and, everything that has happened with how I've fallen out with my parents and how that relationship has shifted. It's just, I've really, really wanted and almost needed to feel like I had to go get my relationship with God back to some form of starting point, because there has just been so much that has happened in my life since 2019. I was just feeling the pull and feeling the pull and feeling the pull. And when it's a difference between when you're required to go to church based on, you being a child and you just doing what your parents say, and then you kind of coming back around full circle and realizing as an adult that that's something you really value in your life. And so I think it might be stereotypical to say in small towns, church is really important. The whole, family coming together and there not being as many maybe outside influences in small towns versus like big cities and suburbia. So like there's there are churches everywhere in small towns. It's one of the main establishments that I see all over are churches. And my fiance's family owns one, so, or started one or something like that. His like great grandfather like started one or something, and that's been, you know, a family entity that has been passed down through generations. And so knowing that church is really important to his family really kind of just made me see this as a sign that like this is something I should be doing. So we talked about one of the books that we're reading is called Mothers and Daughters of the Bible, and it's just going through the relationships of the women of the biblical times and how they were able to get through loss and grief and separation and family and God and the ups and downs, and how it's just, I'm taking stories like that and really just applying it to my life with my relationships with, you know, my parents, and now that I am in turn raising 2 girls. So church has been a really good staple with this transition to small town living or small town life. It really has. That's one of the things I'm so grateful for. So we did church on Sunday, and then through the week, really getting my 2-year-old, we continue to work with her, her grandmother and I, with her, you know, letters and numbers and colors and shapes. And we do that for about, you know, 1 to 2 hours a day, closer to the 2-hour end, because she really enjoys that. And one thing that's always stuck out to me when like learning with kids is they really like big things. So if we're doing anything, I try to make it big for learning, whether it be coloring or shapes or anything. I just try to make it jumbo because I feel like kids like that more. So we do that during the week, and then if I can get Natalie down for a nap, I feel like I've conquered the world because the girl just doesn't like naps. But she loves to be outside, and I'm so grateful that like we have land to be able to have her just run around. Her father is in the process of building her an entire playground outside in the back of our house, which it seems excessively dramatic, but I appreciate the fact that he even thinks about like our safety, their safety, when it comes to just, you know, me being on my own with 2 small kids, and, you know, everything that we see is happening in the world. It's nice to know that he cares enough to do that. So he's in the process of building them a playground in their backyard. He's cleared out all these trees. He's cleared out all this land, and created their entire space. I'll vlog and take a video and show you guys. It's really cool what he's done. And we're gonna start putting in like toys in the pool and everything, and there's just like this big playground for them in the back of our house. But yeah, so while it's in the process of being built, like I usually just like take the girls out for walks or up and down the lane, or we just sit outside. One of Natalie's favorite things to do is like do bubbles. We're always outside. We're constantly outside, which it's really nice. I enjoy being outside. I feel like it's I don't even know how to describe it, but it just feels like freedom a little bit, which is weird because I don't know how to explain it. It just feels maybe like I'm coming into my own, and it's just like what I feel like is really starting to become apparent of what's important, and just like being able to just like be with your kids and just like show them nature and show them, you know, I don't even know how to explain it, but I just feel like I feel like this is great for the kids, you know? And this is what like your childhood should be like, you know, outside and running around and bubbles and just fun, innocent things for children. I feel like children are, with social media and everything like that, I feel like the innocence of a child is just getting stripped away earlier and earlier and earlier. And I just feel like this small town living, I'm not saying people out here don't have social media, because they obviously do. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot more. I'm able to cater to the kids in terms of them just being kids a little bit longer. That's what it feels like. Which is really, really nice. And it makes everything worth it, even if I may miss, you know, how, where I have left my best friends and sister. So that's what we do. And then it was really cool because everybody kind of knows everybody, not kind of, they really know everybody in this town, like everybody does. And so Friday we went to the last softball like tournament of the spring season. It's for like little kids. Like I think the age group we went to go watch was like 6 and 7 year olds or something like that. And it was the first time, you know, my fiance had seen some of his high school friends in a long, long time, because after my fiance left college, he started traveling all across the country when it came to his job. And so in terms of like him really coming back to his hometown, he didn't really do that until, well, these last couple years. So he got to see a lot of his like old friends from high school, and you know, everybody has families now and everybody has kids, and the people that the little girls we were watching for play softball were actually kids of his old buddies from high school. That's why we're actually there. But it was nice because everybody got to meet his girls, and they got to meet Adriana for the first time. And it's just like, you know, I'm happy that the girls are able to start getting introduced to like this type of living and these people at a young age. Because like people talk about like being the new kid or like moving around a lot. That sucks when you're going to a school full of kids, but it's probably sucks even more when you aren't from a small town and then like you get dropped into a small town when you're like a sophomore or junior. Like all of these kids have literally known each other since, you know, they were babies. And Natalie and Adriana will get to be a part of that. And that's something that I'm really loving about this for them, is that sense of community, that sense of like the people you know, the people you go to school with literally are the kids of your dad's friends. Like that's who they are. Or they're kids of your aunt's friends from when they went to school. And it's just like this big community that continues. And so that was nice. We got to do that on Friday. On Saturday, we went to a like a little festival. I guess one of the girls who was from that community, she was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. And so they do a festival in honor of her to raise money for the type of cancer that she had. And she unfortunately passed away. I think my fiance's mother was telling me about it. And so they do a festival every year in honor of her to raise money for the cancer that she had. And so that was really nice. It was beautiful weather. And we walked around and we got to go to the park. The park is like literally down the street from our house. And it was so funny because at the very end of the festival, there's a splash pad right next to the park. And Natalie just like ran through it and was having like the time of her life, completely soaked from head to toe. But it was okay because, you know, do showers every night, and she was able to get a shower that night. But I mean, they're just like running around the splash pad, just soaked from head to toe. But it's just like, she's comfortable there, you know, and that you just want your kids to be comfortable and happy and feel welcome, which everybody has made me feel super, super welcomed. I am the only Black woman that I've seen there. I've seen one like African-American boy. He looked to be about like 12 or 13. I do see it. When I say decent, I've seen like 3 or 4 biracial kids. The people that they're always with are Caucasian women, which is totally fine. I obviously I have biracial kids, but when I say that people have made me feel welcome, like, do I get stared at? Yes, I absolutely do, which I completely understand. First of all, you know, I'm not from around there, and like I've stated, everybody truly does know everybody. So, you know, even if I wasn't African American, I believe I still would get stared at, just because people would know that I'm not from there. But it, you know, I also do obviously think I get looked at because it's very not normal. I mean, there's this African American woman, like when you see biracial kids, in my opinion, you see biracial kids with Caucasian women, and it's very different when you actually like see the mom and the dad and they're together. It's different, but I grew up with, you know, white parents, so I've literally been stared at my entire life, my siblings and I have. So this is nothing new. It's just what I've been used to my entire life. So like, but it was nice. It was nice to be able to like get out this weekend and kind of like see a little bit about like where my fiance's from, and like meet some of his old high school buddies and kind of just get integrated into the community. And Natalie just has so much fun, and everybody there met tons of people who had been praying for Adriana while she was in the NICU. A lot of people had never met her before. They'd seen pictures, but you know, they had been told for the past 6 months, like, pray for this baby and, you know, pray for our family. And so we met tons of people throughout that weekend who had come up to me and said that, you know, they were so happy that everything was working out okay, and that they had been praying for us, and that they had gotten together at all the church services and prayed for our family and prayed for the baby. And it just makes me feel like, you know, there's hope for humanity. It also makes me feel like small towns have stereotypical reputations, just like everything does. And I've only been submersed there, which I'm not even really submersed. I'm just kind of getting my feet and toes wet a little bit. But do people have a problem with me being Black? I don't know, maybe. But like that, you can go anywhere in the world and have somebody have a problem with you being Black. It's just like small towns get that like serious reputation of just like hating Black people. But I've just felt so welcomed. And the fact that like people came up to me and told me that they prayed for my baby, and they prayed for me, and they prayed for our family, like, it's just, it makes you take pause about things that you have been told, and things that are turning out to be the complete exact opposite. So it's been nice. It's been nice. But we got a long way to go, you know. We got a long way to go. Adriana has tons of appointments still in Ohio, so we're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth literally every other week. She's got, this week, she's got surgery, she's got a whole bunch of appointments with her specialty doctors, with plastic surgeons, genetics, neonatologists. We had ophthalmology today. We've got appointments all week because we're getting ready to plan her surgery for her cleft palate. So besides having the small jaw, that was basically the plastic surgeon lengthened and grew her jaw. She has a cleft palate that's completely open in the back of her mouth. So we're going to probably plan that surgery as it gets closer to her first birthday, which is in November. They're looking to try to do the surgery around like September, October. But yeah, this transition is just, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other and just like taking it a day at a time, and also just really trying to have faith that God has this together for me and that I'm gonna be okay. And it starts off with my kids being okay. And I wholeheartedly believe that getting them in the door and getting them submersed in this community and this way of living as babies will be the best thing for them. So that is small town life. That's what happened with me this past week. And I can't wait to share with you guys episode 3. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.